December 25th, it's Christmas at Hocking Hills. Winter in one of Ohio's most popular state parks is in full swing. The aftermath of a recent winter storm brings many changes to the landscape, transforming it into a winter wonderland. Heading into the gorge near Old Man's Cave, you're immediately greeted with towering sandstone cliffs. Large icicles hang down, tinted by the mineral properties found in the sandstone rock. Heading down into the gorge from the visitor center, you're immediately greeted with several small tranquil waterfalls. Hocking Hills is home to more than 7 waterfalls, many of which are seasonal or hidden. So when hiking through Hocking Hills, you'll want to pay close attention to every little detail of the trail, because you never know where one of these might be hiding. Temperatures have plummeted across Ohio. It's now 15 degrees, and many of the small streams and waterfalls are beginning to freeze. It may be Christmas, but many families have chosen to spend their holiday here in the amazing winter wonderland of Hocking Hills. Hiking through the frozen landscape is a rare occasion. It doesn't happen too often, and that's why many have chosen to spend their holiday here in the park. Here we have the Devil's Bathtub, located in between the Upper Falls and Old Man's Cave. This is a fascinating piece of stream bed. The tub consists of a small waterfall and is situated in a weak layer of black hand sandstone, and is constantly enlarged by the swirling action of the Old Man's Creek. Be sure to stop by this mesmerizing natural wonder as you make your way to the Upper Falls near Old Man's Cave. The Upper Falls marks the beginning of the Old Man's Cave Gorge, stretching nearly a half-mile. This breathtaking waterfall and the sandstone gorge started its life millions of years ago when glaciers began to melt. Millions of years later, the melting water has carved out what you see today. The Upper Falls has a height of 20 feet and crests at 10 feet, cascading down into the gorge below. Heading down from the main parking lot for the Cedar Falls, we find our way into the picturesque valley of Queer Creek. This is where the Old Man's Cave Gorge joins up with the valley of Queer Creek. The trail winds along the tranquil Queer Creek. You'll cross over several bridges as you make your way to Cedar Falls. As you make your way to the first bridge, the wind begins to pick up. As you look up at the towering, snow-covered pine trees, the snow begins to swirl. It truly is a winter wonderland. Hocking Hills is one of the most abundant and diverse areas in all of Ohio. Much of Ohio's wildlife call this place home, including the white-tailed deer, barred owls, ruffed grouse, and an occasional bobcat make these wooded ravines and ridgetops their home. This area is often referred to as the rainforest of Ohio due to the many plant species that reside within the park, containing a profusion of shrubs, wildflowers, and ferns, including roundleaf catchfly, lady slipper orchids, devil's walking sticks, and sylvantia. Some of the state's rarest and most unusual plants reside within the park, including a wide variety of lichens and mosses that cling to the rock faces. In the mid-1700s, this area was home to the Wyandot tribe, whose village of Old Town was situated along the banks of the Hocking River near present-day Logan. The Wyandot tribe named the river Hocking, meaning Bottle River, and that's where the park gets its name from. As winter rears its head, temperatures fall and winds begin to pick up. Many of the animal and bird species in Hocking Hills take shelter from the icy conditions that winter has brought. As we round the corner, we can see the final bridge off in the distance, reassuring us that Cedar Falls is just ahead. This is Cedar Falls, the Hocking region's greatest waterfall in terms of volume. You'll gaze in awe as you watch the Queer Creek tumble over the face of the Black Hand Stone, displaying the awesome powers of water. Cedar Falls was actually misnamed by the early white settlers, who mistook the stately hemlocks for cedars. A faster way to reach the falls is to take the nearly 100 steps leading directly down to the bottom of the falls from a parking lot and picnic area above. Cedar Falls has a height of 50 feet and can usually be seen flowing. Located no more than 50 yards from Cedar Falls is the aptly named Hidden Falls. It has a height of 15 feet and a crest of 10 feet. If it hasn't rained in a while, this waterfall does tend to dry up. Ash Cave is one of Hocking Hills' most visited and spectacular areas. It's also one of the easiest to hike to. The hike to Ash Cave starts out at a parking lot with a paved trail. This flat and easy hike will take you through a narrow gorge lined with stately hemlocks, massive beech trees, and various other hardwoods. Scanning the valley floor, you'll find brilliant displays of wildflowers all season long. Large flowered trillium, Dutchman's breeches, trout lily, jack-in-the-pulpit, and jewweed are some of the plant species you'll find on your way to Ash Cave. The trail is approximately 1/4 mile in length. Suddenly you'll be greeted with large overhanging ledges and the mighty Ash Cave. This massive horseshoe-shaped cave, measuring 700 feet from end to end, 100 feet deep from the rear cave wall to its front edge, with the rim rising 90 feet high. You'll gaze in awe as you look up and see the east fork of the Queer Creek cascading over the top of Ash Cave, gracefully cascading to a small pool below. Ash Cave gets its name from the huge pile of ashes that was found under the shelter by early settlers. It was recorded that the pile was 100 feet long, 30 feet wide, and 3 feet deep. Many Native American tribes and early settlers used this cave as shelter from the harsh weather conditions of the region. In more recent years, the cave was used for camp and township meetings. Pulpit Rock is the largest slump block at the cave's entrance and has served as the pulpit for Sunday worship services until the local church could be built. If you're ever in Ohio, take a minute to stop by the amazing place that is Hocking Hills, because you never know what magic awaits you in one of Ohio's most diverse ecosystems. Because this is Hocking Hills, a true gem of Ohio,